Hello, hello. Let's make sure that I pin this. Okay. Well, as we trickle in more and more people, because I'm just let this be like an open gate. Hey, friend. I'm really excited for this kickoff of this series, IG Live Talk. This is the fall season. So I'm really juiced about this first guest that I have. Her name is Marissa. Well, first of all, we'll talk about how we met overall and let her tell her story. Marissa owns Retail While Black and also Target While Black. And she's just an overall, like, how her story and how she got into it and how she not only really made like a vessel in supporting Black owned businesses, specifically in like all spaces, but heavily into the Target. She's now transitioned into other spaces for other businesses as well. And then she does her other thing too. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. And like I said, we also have another IG Live Talk tomorrow. We have Eric, and he's more in the music side. So if you are an artist, independent, creative in the music, and or you just want to know more about how you can sync your music into other spaces, movies, TV, film, independent, all the things, we're going to have that talk tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be on IG Live again, but I'm so excited for this guest. One. Looks like she accepted. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing fantastic. I decided to put us on TikTok. So we are on TikTok over here.
Okay. And we're on IG over here on this side. So, but if you do have TikTok, please follow us on Retail While Black on her side and just be able to also follow and do all the things. If you are not on IG, definitely hit up on TikTok. You'll get the same live. So without further ado, please introduce yourself. Tell quick about your background, and then we'll just kind of quickly talk about how we met.
Yes. So I am Marissa. I have Target While Black and Retail While Black. You guys will see me on Retail While Black right now. But before I started doing all of this, I actually was going to be an anesthesiologist. Wow. Ask me why I'm crazy.
I was going to say career. That's a plot twist.
I did all the hours. I went and I shadowed. I did all the applications, everything. And it was one of those situations where when there's only two, there might be more than two now, but there was only two anesthesiology assistant programs like in the whole state of Florida. Wow. And one of the things that I needed was it to be close to my house because I do have two kids and I couldn't travel somewhere else, which was kind of to my disadvantage because that's what people do. They apply to schools in multiple states everywhere and they just go to wherever they get in. But I could only apply to the one school that was in my area. Okay. So I didn't get in and I was like, I'll just try again next year. But again, I have kids and I needed money now and I was poor. Right. So I started doing something else. I ended up being a teacher. Shout out to the teachers out there. Do your thing.
Apple Elementary needs to come back.
Listen. I love that show because it is so hilarious to me because it's spot on.
Right.
But I did not like being a teacher. It was draining to me. There was a lot of kids that needed a lot of help in the classroom and I felt like I couldn't help them. And it just made me sad every day. So I would just cry in my car before I went into work and I was like, I cannot keep doing this.
Right.
So I ended up leaving and working for my alma mater and then being an ed tech. I don't know why.
And so like what is like the day-to-day of an ed tech? Because that sounds like science. And as the media entertainer, that is not my field. So tell us, the world that does not know that space, tell us a little bit in your POV.
So I do love science. All my degrees are in science. But no, ed tech was basically, it was a sales role and I would talk to schools. I would talk to principals and teachers. And it was like a software where the teachers could just put up on the board when parents were arriving to pick up their kids. It was just a safer alternative instead of keeping all the kids outside by the curbs, like in the heat or in the rain. So that's basically what I did. I did that for a while. But all that time when I was still teaching, like the end of teaching, I had started my first page, Target While Black.
Okay.
And I just kept doing it and was going to give up, actually. Was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, it's taking so much of my time, so much of my effort. There's really nobody here. There was like, you know, maybe like 2,000 people there, but it was just a lot. So I ended up sharing toilet paper.
Wow.
I was like, oh, it's black on toilet paper at Target. And that went crazy viral. So I just kept making,
from you posting that black on toilet paper.
Yeah.
How many, like, within 24 hours, how many did it catch attention to? And then what was the result of, like, did more people buy from that black owned toilet paper? And was this at the time during the pandemic in 2020 when we need to?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So when I first started, it was November 2020. I was bored out of my mind. I was actually like shopping for Legos and all that stuff. And I started the page because I saw Black Santa. And I love Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I liked Black Santas. My grandmother, on my mom is mixed and my dad is African American. So my mom's mom was a white lady, and she would color our Santas black because there was no Black Santa.
Yeah.
So I was seeing Santas in the store that I was like, oh, wait a minute. We don't have to color these Santas? Like, they're just Black Santas.
Yeah.
Just on the shelves. Oh, okay. So I bought every single Black Santa angel I could find, and I shared them. And that's how people initially first started following me. And I get that story. When I tell the story, I always hear people say that they collect Black Santas.
Listen,
I always hear,
like, my grandmother, same thing. When she was able to find a Black Santa, best believe we switched and had that one until literally, I think we've had it until the rust as much as possible was there. But yeah, agreed.
Yes. So every time they're like, yeah, my grandmother had Santas and she would make them brown, or you know, all these when I tell the story, everybody says the same thing. And it was something that after Christmas is over, I was like, okay, well, now it's Black History Month. So let me share that was the first year that Target was like, getting its hand slapped a million times because they were making Black History Month collection, but there was no Black people involved in it, or not that we knew of anyway, that were involved in that process. So this particular year, they were working with small Black-owned businesses to put that collection together. So I started sharing about the people that were in the collection first.
Got it. Okay, interesting.
And that kind of caught people's attention.
Okay.
Then it was the toilet paper. So from Black Santa to Black History Month, about 5,000 people. And then from Black History Month to Black-owned toilet paper, I went to 10,000 people. Wow. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, like, maybe I can like make this a series. So I did this really long series that I probably did for like a year and a half of like Black-owned baby you can find at Target, Black-owned stationery you can find at Target, Black-owned foods you can find at Target. Like, I just did all the things. And by that next November, so this is a year in, I had 30,000 people on that page.
And so from that audience, and by the way, how we met is from her like platform. So congratulations and shout out to Macro and Shea Moisture.
Yes.
Shea Moisture had a fund that is currently happening, the next Black Millionaire Fund, and they had 3 entrepreneurs that they had go literally from their items that they had with, I think, Scotch Boys, we had Undefined Beauty, and then we had Cosma Hele. And from those brands, they were able to literally, you see the transition from them going into Target. And so thankfully, Roku and Macro made it into a docuseries. And Marissa's actually a part of the episode. She's part of the episode where LaToya, test out one of her items, and you see Marissa come to the hair salon and you actually see the brand.
Yeah.
And so we've seen the backstory because I was one of the archival producers, and I reached out to Marissa, and not only just from that connection and just, of course we had to go back and forth, but being able to listen to a tidbit of your story, I was like, girl, I had to bring you on to get just this IG live talk to really kind of bring into new. And I was like, who would be the first guest? Her. Because I really think that, one, with our platform with Queens of Production, we really made a stamp in being the way we educate, collaborate, and really enlift creatives that are in all fields of production. But I started to get more people be like, I want to know more stories outside of that. So I think with you, first of all, being a teacher and seeing these, one gem to now being a content creator for Black owned businesses, the need, especially for me, I'm always Black owned. Like, I'm from California. Shout out to Lamert Park. I always go there to get like my soap, my goods, my like products and everything. Like, that's our safe haven. So I really think that you have given that safe haven into the social media platform and giving recognition. Because honestly, like, the more I start seeing your page, the more I was like, okay, I need to buy some of this stuff. And honestly, some of the sweaters I have, some of the like to food, to little things I bought because of your page. So having 30K at that turnaround, that's like amazing.
Yeah, and I want to be that voice in people's head that they walk into any store, right? And they're like, you're in Dollar Tree, and you're like, I wonder if they have Black-owned brands in here. Marissa said that she can't ever not find a Black-owned brand. So I bet you there's one in here if I just pay attention.
Exactly.
Like, I want that to be the voice in the back of people's head, because we most likely are there, but people don't know we're there. And then people don't know that it's okay to shop Black in retail either, right? There's still that stigma that like, why are you giving Target your money? Or why are you giving Walmart your money? Like, you need to go directly to the brand. And while I understand that piece of it, because there's a very big mistrust in the way that the system works, there is something powerful about using retail as a tool to then push us further. Because we go into the store online, like maybe a .com, and you might buy one shirt, but at a retailer, they may have 10, Walmart has 10, there's 10,000 Walmarts.
Yeah.
For them to fill the shelves at all of these different places, imagine how much product they have to buy from a brand. So if they see that need for that Black-owned product on that shelf and we're buying it, they're going to keep ordering from this small business, and that small business is going to keep getting these massive orders. So I want us to look at it as an also. Like, I can buy directly from the brand, but I can also buy the brand from a retailer, because we have to get these multiple streams of income working for this generational wealth to wealth, because we're too far behind. So we have to use all the tools.
Facts. And that's even the same for entertainment. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm in post-production, and I kid you not, most people will be like, what is that? What are you doing? So I feel like it's in the same space for you. Like, if we haven't been able to, like, social media has really pushed the doors for a lot of these different positions of little knickknacks to come into the fold and be like, we can be in these positions too and get paid the same way. Because I bet you if somebody else was not of a person of color, they're doing the same thing, like these TikTokers and like all the things. So definitely give you your accolades, because you are doing the thing. And so my question for you is, especially being a teacher and seeing, shout out to the teachers, I always educate out. Do you feel, because you have blossomed the Target While Black and Retail While Black, that has also pushed more awareness for, Black-owned businesses for like schools and kids and like families? And tell us some of the products that you've seen that has come around.
I have. So I see teachers, first of all, teachers, shout out for real for like everything that you do every day, because I cannot, especially all the changes that have been going on in the world, I can imagine being a teacher right now and having some of these stipulations on you.
Right.
One of the things that I started doing on my pages is sharing authors. There's authors, there's illustrators, they're a product too, right? When someone has a book, they maybe get like $1 off of that book. Did y'all know that?
Wait, what?
They may get $1 they may get a profit of like $1, maybe $2 off of that book.
I didn't know that.
But if you're an author, you're not a millionaire. It's not like you made a book and like all of a sudden you have like, you know, thousands of dollars.
Right.
For authors to make a lot of money, they have to have their books bulk purchased. So that means bulk purchased by a library, bulk purchased by a school, you know, by a bookstore, by a retailer.
Yeah.
Like those are the ways that authors make money. So I started sharing that. I saw a lot of teachers go get specific books, you know, really cute books that have like little, you know, stories behind them about being adventurous or being yourself. I also, More Than Peach Project, she has like flesh tone crayons. Ooh. Last year, she came out during back to school season, and she was in the back to school section. It was the flesh tone crayons.
I've seen those come pop around because I actually seen that at the Academy Museum. I seen them. They have. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
This is cool. Yeah, that was really cool. I've also been able to like, some of the brands have become my friends, so I've made suggestions to them. So this past year, Jasmine from Be Rooted, she made back to school stuff. She had binders. Ooh. She had calendars, all kinds of stuff. And that was something that I said, I was like, listen, if you make back to school stuff, I will buy it immediately. Yes. And she said, say yes. So she had a back to school section. My daughter, when she was going back to school, we got her the binders, everything else. So, and just like other little things like Young King Hair Care. They're a brand that makes hair products specifically for little boys. We don't talk about little boys' hair, but it's a really big part of little boys. Little boys everywhere have hair. Yeah. My son had an afro and a little puff and everything. And you know, they want to feel special and cool when they're using their hair products too. Right. They also got a licensing deal with Disney, and they had Black Panther on their products last year. Super cute.
Work.
But there's just like something special about being able to get everyday products and put them in your house. You know, everyday products, things that you can keep repurchasing that are Black owned, that shifts the narrative. And also shifts people's mindset, because I see a lot of people like Black owned brands are expensive, or, you know, I don't tend to like Black owned brands. And honestly, I try not to roll my eyes very hard when people start talking about that. I like really try to like bring it back, Marissa. Right. But products are more expensive because they're not ordering 3 million of them, because they don't have the money to order 3 million of them. Right. Because they're only getting 2% of the funding, and less than that if you're a Black woman. So yeah, it costs $1 more. Stop it, and let's try to make the generational wealth and maybe spend an extra 50 cents. Or I don't like the Black owned brand that I tried. You can't like everything. Right. Try something new. Try something different. Almost every single part of my bedtime routine, every single part of my makeup is Black owned. But I went through years of not liking things, trying other things. Like, we can't expect to like every single thing the minute that we get it. Right. You have to go through a process, and that's with everything. But the truth is that people are comfortable with routine, and if you always bought Tide, then you're probably gonna go buy Tide again. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about shopping Black, we're also talking about breaking people's routines to find something new that may cost a little bit more. So it really is like a really long educational process.
And also too, like the biggest question that normally some people be like, you know, is it really Black owned? Mm-hmm. You know, we deal with music, we deal with this in like TV, all the things, and how it is Black owned, but as you start to dig and do the research, it isn't Black owned. And, you know, you start to be like, like, okay, what's going on? So having that issue, have you had that happen? And like, what were some products that, well, we won't say that, but when you've had a product that had that instance, how did it make you feel as like a person that had purchased it? And what has been some keynotes for retail when you do retail Black and stuff for us to watch out for?
Yes. So something that I've tried to like instill in people who are watching my pages is that there's a very big difference between Black owned, Black founded, Black led. All of those things are different. And it's confusing, one, And then the retailer doesn't really tell you the difference. You know, they don't tell you what's black owned and what's black founded and what black led is. They're just like banking on you seeing the word black and buying it.
Right.
And so when we're talking about something that's black owned, we're talking about majority ownership. I do truly believe that every part of black owned, black founded, black led is a part of an ecosystem, and they all play a significant part in what we need to do moving forward. But I do think when retailers aren't being honest with shoppers about what they are, then you again sow mistrust, and then people don't know if things are black owned or not. I have had a situation. I won't name any names. I have had a situation where a product was not black owned. And it was the way that it was went about that seemed super shady. But that was really early in me doing all of this. Now I'm 50 shades of crazy when I'm going through trying to find if something's black owned or not. I do a lot of research, and then I'll do research again before I post it again. So if it was black owned today, I'll do it again tomorrow just to make sure, to make sure from today and tomorrow, nothing has changed with that product. But for those of you watching, black owned is a majority ownership. That means 51% plus. Black founded is a brand that has sold. Their CEO may still be the original founder. They may still have some stake in the company, but they don't have the majority ownership anymore. And black led is a CEO of that company is black. So there's a very big difference between the three. However, I will say that the way my pages is set up and the way my conference was set up, we have to talk about that too. The way my conference is set up.
Yes.
Is that I often say that the black founded brands are our best investor because they were once a black owned brand. So now those black founders, they got money.
And they know the gift of gab behind the scenes.
Exactly. They got money and they know the jig is up. And a lot of the brands now, when you see them selling, you see them selling strategically, right? They're selling and then they're setting up like Shea Moisture did. They're setting up a fund to be like, this is going to go back to black owned businesses. Word. So I'm going to sell, but I'm going to put this caveat in so I can make sure I'm always giving back to my people in a way. Mael kind of did the same thing when she sold as well. So we're seeing people be more strategic about it. But those people have money now. That's part of our ecosystem. The black founded brands, they got money. They can invest in the black owned businesses.
And they're not gatekeeping. They're not gatekeeping.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Exactly. And there's been a lot of situations that I've been in where I've had CEOs that were some of those black led brands where I've had CEOs reach back for small black owned businesses too, because now they're in a power position. So they each play a role, right? But I tell people all the time, I don't make decisions on where you put your money. I just tell you the information and then you buy what you want to buy. If you want to buy black owned specifically, only buy black owned. If you don't mind black founded, buy black founded. But I think it's just important that people are open and honest, and the retailers too are open and honest about what those words mean so that people can support in the way that makes them feel comfortable.
Agreed. And so even leading up to my next question, as far as, the marketing side, because, a lot of these black owned brands, unfortunately, when they get to the stores, some of them don't even are not organized correctly. I even remember I saw a clip the other day where there was a guy that was actually confused why Scotch Boys and this were together, but probably because the advertisement was not fully expressed. I think I saw that. Yeah. So when it comes to the marketing, while these black owned, black led businesses are coming into the front page, do you think that the marketing is still missing, like the commercials and all those things, and outside of thinking outside of the box of the marketing? And what are some things that you wish to see different in that space? As we are black owned, we need to start thinking about how we do commercials, how we do the marketing, how we do the forefront of some of these products that I feel awesome. They are coming into the fold, the Pop-Tarts, that one was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Even down to we'll even say randomly the pig sauce. So, how do you feel the
Yeah.
marketing and the commercial side, do you think is still missing for Black owned businesses?
So it definitely is. And I think that while I am so excited that my pages are taking off, I really am so interested in seeing more Black content creators center Black business in what they're
Hmm.
doing. And I say this in a way where, like, you see sometimes some of the retailers have a commercial talking about Black owned business, but it's still not enough. And the thing is that the retailer, think about the retailer like a giant storage unit, y'all. They put you there on their shelf and they're like, okay, you do your thing, miss, you sell. But they're not really interested in how you sell those items. They're only interested in that you sold them.
Mm.
So when you get in there, the retailer isn't looking at it as their responsibility to sell you off the shelf. It's each brand's responsibility to do that. But it goes back to money again. They don't have the money to make commercials. They don't have the money to pay influencers. They don't have the money to do these things that some of the big brands do. And they're on the shelf next to a L'Oreal. How do I sell at a rate that is going to make me competitive with a brand that has millions of dollars to spend on all this funding? So we're really in a state right now where there needs to be more marketing dollars. Some of the retailers are giving marketing dollars. Like one of the brands told me that Amazon gave them like $2,000 so that they can market.
Wow.
So they know the marketing is missing. They know the marketing is missing. And when they're talking about supporting Black owned business, that's one of the pieces that I don't think they were truly prepared for. I really think that they did I lose you? I thought maybe you just paused, but maybe you lost. You got left. Maybe you got a
Oh,
call.
no, I'm back.
You're back? Okay.
Yeah, I just had reloaded weirdly. But yeah, I totally agree in regards to commercials, because having spaces like, example, the Super Bowl, and how
Yeah.
people get like, I watch it for the performances because they've been doing a pretty
Right.
good job. But the other thing too is like commercials. Like, if I'm not a game person, I'm waiting for the commercials. And
Yeah.
last year, we are still talking about how Tubi randomly had flipped the switch and had like the dopest commercial and marketing. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking to myself, it's like, even down to like, I think one good job that one big platform that really helps in regards to the commercialing and branding is like Essence Festival, where you literally see Black owned entities in every space, and like the bigger companies too. Like,
Yeah.
when I went the year before, I was like, Disney put a map on like giving a platform, in Target, I was like, to even McDonald's, I was like, oh my God, like, and like you said, they have the money to give. So it's just like, for you, now that we are in the content creator space and social media, where they are now like, hey, we'll just give the money.
Mm-hmm.
How, as an influencer for you, how can we get that money? What has been like to-dos or tips for people who want to be able to market themselves and be able to also use Retail While Black, Target While Black as their foundation and platform to market?
Oh, so that's a big question.
It's deep. I told you I was gonna get deeper.
It's it's a big question. So what I had to end up doing for myself was I was starting to get bigger deals, right? So I had like Essence came to me to do a deal, and I was looking at this contract like, oh snap. I don't know what to look for in this contract.
The
I don't
fine
know what to
line.
red line. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm asking for enough money. Am I asking for too little? I didn't know. Jack diddly squat. So what I ended up doing now is having a management team that handles those bigger deals, but still allows me to work with my small brands. Now, you know what? While we have everybody's eyes here, let me tell you what happens sometimes. Some of my small brands, because I have a standard rate sheet, right? But it says clearly on my standard rate sheet that if you are a small Black owned business, this is flexible. Tell me what you need. Basically, that's what my email says. Tell me what you need.
Yeah.
If you're a Black owned business, please negotiate. I see them not negotiate at all. And I'm like, Okay, well, I got a management team to help me not push out small businesses. So I still need them. Please, please.
Please.
Because then me and my manager are going back with them like, no, 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 come back, come back. We can work with whatever you have. But I think that's one of those things where it's like it's intimidating, and I know that they're having that same experience when they go to other content creators. It's like that dollar amount is scaring them, but you have to negotiate and you have to ask people what they're willing to do for you, because there are some of the big creators that they will they have a certain amount of brands that they'll work with for free. They have all of these little things that they do to try to help smaller businesses.
Right.
So for me, I still have yet to tell anybody no about being on my page. I cannot think of a time I told someone no. So I always negotiate. I always come to where the brands need me because I know they don't have the marketing dollars. Now, how we get the dollars from retailers? How do we get the dollars from, some of those big corporations is a very big loaded question, because they were not expecting, when they said they were supporting Black owned business, they didn't know what they were getting into.
Really?
They didn't fully think about it.
I mean, don't they know that
say
our
that
dollar?
confidently.
But like as we like talked before, like our dollar, our image, our culture makes the coin. So it's interesting that were kind of taken back on how much of the turnaround and success that they were getting from these Black owned spaces.
I wouldn't say it was a success. I feel like they didn't know what they were getting into as far as supporting the Black brands be successful. I think that was the missing piece. I don't think they're surprised necessarily by the success of the brands when they do well, but I think that we were having a moment in time where there was Black brands on the shelf, and they would leave the shelf, and people were like, why do these brands keep turning over and flipping? Yeah. And it's because there wasn't enough support there for the brands on the shelf. There wasn't enough support as far as like knowing what the process was about shelf placement. There wasn't any talks about like what does marketing look like once these brands on the shelf. The brands weren't prepared to go onto the shelf, and the retailers weren't prepared to help the brands in the way that they needed to. So it was like,
so where do you come in? Like, I feel like now, like with you, it's kind of blended together. So how have you kind of brought the two together with your brands and your pages?
Yes. So now I come in and I try to be the educational piece for both sides, or for all three sides. It depends on how you look at it. So I try to tell the consumers what's happening when the Black owned brands are going through the retail process, like what it looks like marketing dollars for them, why they might be a little bit more expensive, why they're not in all 1,800 Targets, why are they only in 40 or 50? I try to give them the lowdown. Leave a review, because if you leave a review, the more reviews that brand has, then the higher they are in the search engine when people go search things on that retailer site. So I try to do that for the consumer, so they know that, listen, you have to meet the brands where they are. But then also having a conversation with the brands and finding out what they need. What's going on as you go through the retail process? What are some of the things that you guys need help with that I can tell the consumer, and vice versa, right? Because sometimes the consumer is like, well, I really wanted to buy this brand, but they're not in my store. They'll say something like that, but they're not in my store. And I'll go, okay, well, did you use their store locator? I can't find the store locator. Goes and looks for their store locator. Brand, hey, excuse me, you don't have a store locator on your site. Put a store locator on your site immediately. Immediately, because they're looking for you, right? And then there's that third piece is the retailer. Have I had any direct conversations with retailers? No. But I know they're watching me. And I know that they see the conversations that are going on and the education that is happening, and also understanding that by me being that missing piece of the marketing dollars that the brands didn't have, there has been a ripple effect in people when I post something going to the store. going online, buying things immediately just because they know it's there.
Yeah.
So that is what they were missing. They were missing the marketing for the brands.
I totally agree. And so now with your platform, I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
been a little shift in the room. So what has been some new successes with the page? I
Yeah.
know one of them we can definitely talk about with the Webby Award.
Yeah.
But also other things that you've done. I know that you did a conference, you've done other things like
Yeah.
visits, all things. So tell us some of the successes that you've had since having the page.
Yeah. So, um, man. So last year I got to go to Essence. I went on stage at Essence with Kayla Allen. That was really fun.
Ooh, yes.
That was really fun. I did a panel at the Essence conference last year. And then after that, I went on to, I actually started working with a PR firm. I was having an issue where I was like, it does not make any sense that I can't get one person to write an article about me.
Wait. With you doing this page, nobody has come to you and done an article?
I didn't start getting articles until I started working with the PR firm.
I'm in shock and disappointed at the same time
I,
because they should have
I,
been got you way beforehand. What?
I actually had that. There was someone here who she had a podcast, and she actually used her podcast to like leverage me to get me a Black Enterprise article.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this time, this is when the Instagram check marks meant something, right?
Listen, they don't really mean anything anymore.
Yeah, when they meant something. So I was really needing that check mark because people were coming to my page, taking my content, resharing it on their pages, and I was reporting people because I was like, their entire feed is my page. So I was reporting people, and I was just really looking for a backing from Instagram that really not like in hindsight, the check mark wasn't going to do that for me anyway because people still take my stuff. But that's here nor there. I've had to start watermarking my stuff.
Instagram needs to do better on their like reporting and stuff because I reported another page that like told people to report that they were getting hacked, and I just got back. They were like, I mean, it's not doing any damage, type of thing. And I was like, what? Like I'm reporting that this is a fake page. Yeah. I don't know who's behind it, but they need to do better.
Yeah, I reported somebody. They were like, they made a Target Wall White page and just like harassed me. And no one did anything about it. It still exists.
Please, okay, so everybody that's on here, if you see Target Wall White, report the page as much as you can because we need to, like I said, continue supporting Black-owned pages like you and making sure that we protect our pages and protect our content creators. Yes, some people are saying what? Yes, go on there, Target Wall White. Report that page so that way we can get that page gone and we can continue to support our queen here. So while we shift to positive energy, again, I've heard that you had a conference. We reposted it on our page. Tell us about the conference and what was your decision to have this space and how did it go?
Yes, so it was fantastic. Again, my PR team they came through clutch on a lot of things. A lot of things I didn't know, a lot of ways that I didn't know that I should be marketing myself. I wanted and needed more eyes so people were knowing what I was doing, but I can also get more people there so I can educate more people, right? So they put me in for a Webby Award. Didn't think I was going to win a Webby Award. They also put me in for a Shorty Award. I was a finalist for both. I didn't win the Shorty Award, but I ended up winning the Webby Award, and this is for education and discovery.
Yeah.
Because what I really wanted is like, I share Black-owned brands, but I really want people to like take away real life things they can do to support the brands. Which leads me to the conference. People were asking to meet me. And they were like, I would love to meet you. I would love to go to Target and meet you. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was telling them, I was like, like if I do something like that, I want it to be something like that's like big and impactful. Like I want people to have like a change in the way they view things if I'm going to have something like that. So my PR team was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a conference. And the conference was set up exactly like my pages. So there was brands around the room, and the Black founded brands, you know, the brands with the money, they had sponsored smaller Black owned businesses.
Okay.
So Bevel was there. They had a bar. Bevel was there, but they sponsored a Black owned liquor company called New England Sweetwater. Wow. So people were able to go to that bar and they were able to try all the different distilled liquors. First of all, the apple pie moonshine, yes. And then I had the other side of the room where Cantu, Black founded brand, had sponsored a local hibiscus brew. So there was like hibiscus brew drinks on the other side.
Oh, fancy. Okay, girl.
It was fancy. We had a karaoke lounge, and it was Culture Karaoke was there, which is a Black owned brand. So Culture Karaoke, we actually ended up having like the biggest like live karaoke in New York City. Mm. So it was really cool in there. I had Flex and Fly. You guys might know her bags. She led like a wellness area where like it was so cool. It was like meditation, but with hip hop. It was so great. I had so much fun.
Girl, you need to bring this here to LA. Please, please, please bring this to Los Angeles immediately.
It was so fun. And I think the best part was the room was so warm and connected because there were shoppers in there were brands in there were brand founders in there were CEOs in there were buyers from retailers in there. Like everybody that I've been talking to for these past 3 years were in the same room, now able to actually talk to each other in the room. And we had panel discussions where we opened up the floor to have these real conversations about what people needed. I see Yes Girls Create. That was my charity of choice that I donated to.
Oh, congratulations. During my shout event. Out to them. Yes.
And we were able really to have community and connection in that room. It breaks down, like we always think of like there's so many walls between, there's a store, there's a brand, there's a shopper, when all of these things need to, like the barriers need to be broken down so we can truly have a sense of community and be able to understand how to support each other in the retail process.
I totally 100% agree. And I think that's the same process with TV. I think, we do have these barriers like the AMTP, LMNOP people, and, these production companies that don't support, us as individuals as freelance. Yeah. It makes it hard for you to be creative and be just be. Right. And so that is awesome that you were able to have that conference and being able to have like just all those different perspectives and different voices in one room and make the one change and ignitement. I know there were so many people that had like connected with each other, probably had did follow-ups with each other and all the things. So 100% you need to bring it to LA, and Queens of Production will definitely be in support and bringing you the audience and support and collab on that 100%. And so before we open the floor for questions, because people here, you can put questions, drop your questions on the comments. The biggest thing that I want to be able to kind of take away from this is, the future of brands and the future of all overall for you, retail while Black and retail and Target while Black. Mm-hmm. While you have seen the growth of Black owned businesses and Black owned entities in Target, do you feel that your job has completed? Do you feel like you have more to do? What is there more in your task for your platforms?
I definitely feel like I have more to do. I love my Target While Black community. I love them. They have supported me and done over the moon for things that I couldn't even imagine. I felt like and I still go. I love my Target runs and everything, but it felt like I was becoming the Target girl. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I had so much more to offer than that. And I needed to be my own person, not attached to somebody else's brand. It was really important to me for people to see me as my own person that is making moves to try to make sure Black businesses are supported in all the places. and there's a bunch of different retailers out there. There's a bunch of brands that want to be in different spaces, and there's a lot of support to be given to places outside of Target.
Yeah.
And it just, I felt like I was getting boxed in there. And while I still I'm gonna be doing my thing over there. Nothing's gonna change. Don't get it confused, y'all. Still that girl.
There ain't gonna be
But
no, there ain't gonna be no replacement hopes. She's still gonna be doing the things. But what are some other places that you feel has been lacking in Black owned or just overall people of color businesses and items? And where has been some places that you kind of brand off outside of Target?
yeah, so one of the places that has kind of been cool has been some of the places that are more accessible to more people. So like Family Dollar. Like we don't have a Family Dollar. Family Dollar has the box.
Really?
Yes, Family Dollar, low key, has been bringing more people in there.
What are some items that it, and again, no shade because it is a strike happening, so we need to condense it down. So what has been some items that you've noticed that are starting to become Black owned going into Family Dollar space?
So, Black Paper Party, y'all remember them from Christmas? They,
Yes.
they have birthday stuff at Family Dollar.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the
Mm-hmm.
googly eyes look, listen, you got people taking notes. Interesting.
And Fresh Dolls isn't Family Dollar.
Hmm.
There's brands in Family Dollar. Some of the hair brands are in Family Dollar.
Listen, if they need it for a discount, you know they're gonna go down over there. Interesting.
And it makes
What is another?
sense.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. The fact that especially that some of the stuff is probably discounted and started down. But I'm really surprised that Family Dollar is starting to support into the Black owned space. Interesting. Is there some other spaces that have gotten into the Black owned dollar?
So I feel like Nordstrom's is trying to do it.
Okay.
There's a lot of okay. So first of all, the 15% pledge is where like all of this Black in retail started, right?
Okay.
They started forcing the retailers to say, hey, 15% of the population is Black. I think it's a little bit less than that now, but 15% of the population is Black. 15% of your shelf space needs to be Black owned. So they started this whole push and this whole initiative. So all the brands started signing up, like, oh, let's sign the 15% pledge. Let's put 15% of Black businesses on the shelf.
Mm.
However, what I'm seeing now is that it's online.
Oh, and it's not actually in the stores because, I mean, but then there's the shift. Like, do you think people are like going in the store still, or do you think that online has really been the push? Because for me, like especially being in LA, our Black owned businesses, like we still have not the brick and mortars, but we have like festivals and stuff like Black on My Block and the Black Flea Market and like all these festivals that kind of bring in these brands all together. But again, like you said, like once we leave out of the festival, we can really only get them online. Right. So do you think that has been the transition, like because of the pandemic especially?
I think people are trying to tell us it's a transition, but I just don't. I'm not seeing it because for you to know that brand is online, you would have to know that brand first.
Right. Okay.
So people are you got to go to the grocery store. So if you see a new brand on the grocery store shelves, you'd be like, oh, that's eyes on your brand, right? Like, oh, I haven't seen that brand before. Let me pick that one up. Yep. Or if you're going to Target anyway, you're going to Walmart anyway, right? You are already coming in contact with all these brands, and the more eyes that are on that brand, the more likely you are to shop them. And we're talking about this in the retail's perspective too, right? So we are going to use retail as a tool. We need them to make large purchase orders from these brands.
Right.
How is that going to happen if people don't know the brands are there?
Right. And so my interesting question is, what is some items that you feel, because again, we were talking about how, Black boys and like with their hair, that's not being really topped enough. What are some other brands and what are some other objects that you feel is kind of still missing in the Black owned entity? And what are some things that we need to look out for?
there's so many things are missing. I'm like, there's so many things that we could have.
Listen, yes.
I really think like there is like cleaning products. I know that they do exist. They're not in stores. People can purchase them, but like cleaning products is one of those things where if you run out of it and you're cleaning your bathroom, you can't wait 2 to 3 days to go get it again. Like that needs to be in the store. So I would really love to see that inside of stores that are accessible. Target has toothpaste online. That's great. But I ran out of toothpaste at home a day ago. So I need the toothpaste tomorrow at Target. You know, so things like that. Hygiene, cleaning supplies, the everyday stuff. Yeah. There's still everyday stuff is missing. We still have a really like heavily focused on beauty and food.
And I'm gonna throw this in there. Natural products, natural Black owned products. Yeah. Do you feel with the rise of us having Black owned businesses, do you think that we've kind of been the stamp of bringing in natural ingredients, natural things into our products, into our spaces when we do become owned business? And do you think it becomes tricky once it kind of goes into quote unquote mainstream, like a Target, a Walmart, and those things?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I have so much to say about that. Oh my gosh. Yes. So I do think that small businesses tend to be cleaner. They tend to use cleaner ingredients. They tend to use things that are going to, you know, be in smaller batches and work well. However, if you start to do really well and all of a sudden you need to be shipped internationally, you may have to change the way that you do your product because it needs to be on the shelf for longer in other places.
Yeah.
So it becomes hard being a natural brand because you have, in some way, you're going to have to use some kind of preservative, right?
Right.
So, and it's like, it's that give and pull because you want your brand to be clean. You want it to be good for people. But the larger that company becomes, yes, I do think it's going to be very tricky to maintain some of the ingredients that they still use, especially at a decent price point.
Right.
Because that's another thing, right?
Because I noticed that once they become natural and it becomes, it's kind of like when you go to a party, right? Like at us, it was like the party colors. And it was like $5 for RSVP. Yeah. And when that thing started to transition over to the mainstream and start getting popular, and they had I think they had wound up having the location at, I would call Staples Center, still cryptocurrency might, but no. But once it transitioned over, the tickets start going to $25, $35, dang near $60 to get in, and that's not even before RSVP. So I want to compare it down to the brands, like once they start to become popular, like for example, Shea Moisture. We've seen it go from just a bar and maybe a couple of little products and seen it blossom to like I can get body care, hair care, and other things, and I can get it for my baby, I can get it for all the things. But I'm looking at the back of the ingredients and it's like it's getting longer and longer. So it's just like, where as far as you, especially you for the content creator, like is that some of the things that you kind of note out in your spaces in Target While Black and Retail While Black to watch out for?
So in a way, we talk about formula changes sometimes, but usually if I'm talking about formula changes, that means that some people are DMing me and somebody sold their brand and they're freaking out. And people are freaking out. Yeah. Because notably people say when you sell your brand, the formula changes. And it is a valid conversation to have because if that big national retailer can get coconut oil number 5 for 50 cents less than coconut oil number 3 that the brand was using in the first place, they're going to do that. And that's again one of those things though that I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not being told. Right? You're not telling the consumer, you're not telling the person who's shopping that these changes are happening. So they feel blindsided when those changes happen because they didn't know ahead of time. But then here I go again. I'm in my brain like, but also like you can't tell everybody in the world every single thing all the time, right? Because it just doesn't work like that. Like, how long has Shea Moisture been sold? And I still have people tell me Shea Moisture sold, and I'm like, yeah, it did. Yeah. I mean, but it's just because like people don't exist in the online world all the time. People don't read all these newsletters from all these different places, you know, like I do from all the retailers. Yeah. They don't do that. So there needs to be like a high level of transparency as much as possible so that some of the trust can be gained back into the community and these conversations can be had. Like if you make a soap and you want your soap to be national, you may have to make some changes. You can't be in your kitchen, you know, cutting a million bars of soap anymore. You're going to have to start using machines. You're going to have to start using, you know, big, huge pots and stirring them. It may be different. Yeah. So that being said, it's just the solution to that is not to stop supporting, right? So how do we navigate that?
And so before, I think we have one question coming here, but as the 10 that we have here, if you have any questions, we'll definitely put them into the chat. But before I lead to them, my takeaway from this is that what do you see the future of retail while Black? And what are some future, like if I have a Black owned business and I want to reach out to you, what would be some of the steps that I have to do to get to you?
Yes. Okay. Love those questions. So I see the future of retail while Black existing outside of social media. Like it'll still be here. I'll still be doing my thing, but there's things that I feel like you can do outside of the digital space. I still can't figure out why the retailers haven't reached out to me to be some kind of consultant. Can't understand it. Can't understand it. Don't know what they're doing.
I don't understand.
Get it together.
Get it together.
Yes. Get it together. But there's things to be said. There's conversations to be had around marketing the products, right? Like there's sometimes when I think that marketing happens and then Black people see it and they be like, oh, this missed. And then I'm sitting in the corner like, oh God, I'm gonna have to explain why this missed. And but some of those things could be handled beforehand. Right. I also think that there are conversations that need to be had about marketing in general with just Black owned businesses. Like they don't have the marketing dollars. They're on the shelf now. Like we have to support them. The retailers need to do better about how that support is happening. So I just see myself existing outside of this space as well. And like this omnipresent back of your head, devil on your shoulder that's like, oh, you're in the store and you're buying shampoo. Is it Black owned? Is it Black owned? Is there a Black owned brand in here? Like I just see myself being that devil on everybody's shoulder somehow.
Right.
Somehow, with also at a higher capacity, helping the retailers tell better brand stories for Black owned businesses, but still helping the Black owned brands from the bottom up and from the top down. I would love to do both. We'd love to do both. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And then as far as me, if you want to get in contact with me, right now, if you are a Black owned brand that is on a retailer on Amazon, or if you want me to put you on my Amazon storefront, you know, shout out to my Amazon storefront that's all Black owned. I don't think people know that. Yeah. But I have an Amazon storefront that goes crazy if you're looking for a Black owned product. Or if you're on Etsy, I can put you on my list. You can email my team is who gets my emails first now. I'm protecting my peace. I used to get thousands of emails and I was like, oh,
boundaries, set them early.
So my team gets my email first. They'll ask you, you know, what are you looking for? Do you want a reel? Do you want to post? Do you want stories? Do you want to be on TikTok? All those good things. And they're going to send you rates. And like I said before, small Black owned businesses watching this, those rates are just for big brands, small brands, everything in between. However, in the email it says that Marissa is flexible for small Black owned businesses, and I mean that. I haven't said no to any brands yet, so please come in there with a number in your head. Like, what do you need? What do you want? I will work with you to make it happen. Even if you're like, listen, I can't do anything. Like, I just want to gift her. Okay, we can do that. But do not be afraid to ask, not only me, but other content creators, everyone. Do not be afraid to shoot your shot, because like I said, for me, I negotiate with everybody, never told anybody no. I have friends that are content creators and they have a certain amount of brands they work with for free until they hit a cap. Like, there's content creators are out here. We have to make money too. We have to live too.
Yeah.
However, we are still knowing that we have to support our community first. So don't be afraid.
Awesome. And I guess, let's see if we check here if we got any questions here, but I guess we do not. Last question that we'll have before we wrap out for the IG Live Talk is, are there any events? Is there anything coming up that we need to look out for Retail While Black in the next couple weeks, couple months going into this fall?
Ooh, okay. So I love the fall. Like I told you guys, my page started on Santa. It was Santa. So I start being, people either really love me or really hate me, because they're like, Marissa, it's August and why are you sharing pumpkins? And I'm like, mind your business, it's fall over here.
Listen.
But I'll start breaking out some of the holiday finds so that you guys can start planning to purchase some of those things. I do holiday lists, like what would your kids like to see but you buy that are Black owned that you can buy from the store? What about your mom? What about your dad? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I will be at CultureCon in New York City.
Sweet. So if you're going
I'll be walking around there.
Okay, if you're going to CultureCon, I know a lot of creatives that are on this Queens Production Collective that go to networking spaces. So if anybody's in the CultureCon New York area, make sure you pop over, say hi to Marissa. And if you have a Black owned business, get your stuff ready and be ready to negotiate and get your stuff on her platform. Because like I said, how we connected was through the show, through Macro's Next Black Millionaire with Shea Moisture's fund. But I really felt that just overall, I feel like we now have grown the sisterhood.
Yes,
and I love supporting your page. Like, I go on there almost dang near every day. I have you on my pin, so I get the notifications. And just overall seeing you just thrive from when we first met to now, I, again, congratulate you on all the success and accolades that you have done. I think that you have really been a huge space for Black owned businesses and just being an advocate for those spaces. And I think just overall, because you're a teacher, you just want to be able to give that space and give a voice. And that's what we do here in Queens of Production. We give the space to advocate, elevate, and to appreciate those that are in spaces that are giving us a voice and a story to be told. And I think that just because you are in retail and everything does not mean that you are not telling a story. I think you are beautifully telling a story very well with all the spaces that you have. And I'm just blessed to be able to just cheer you on like we do. Queens of Production, we always support Black owned businesses, especially anything that's going to give positivity to our community. So thank you, Marissa, for just joining in on our first IG Live Talk.
Yes.
And it's, again, like I said, we will continue to support you and your future events that you have, and definitely we'll be posting it on our page. And definitely thank you for just giving your space, your story, and the future things, because best believe I will be on there for the holidays. I don't do pumpkin, but when it gets to like Christmas with the peppermint mocha, you know, that's when I'll start looking.
Not peppermint.
What is wrong with peppermint?
It tastes like toothpaste.
I wasn't talking about pumpkin spice lattes on this page, but since we want to throw it out, we can take it there, girl. Oh my gosh. But again, before we leave, what are the pages that we can be able to follow you, girl, and check you out?
Yes. Okay, so I'm on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, Retail While Black. The only place you can find Target While Black is going to be on Instagram. And I'm also on Threads too. But I'm on Retail While Black on Threads. I randomly woke up one day and there was like 10,000 people on Threads. And I was like,
When did that transition happen? I don't know. I still kind of am a little iffy on Threads, but we do got Spill. So if you do want to follow us on Spill, we got the Spill page, Queens of Production. We actually have our own website now, queensofproduction.com, where you can see this. You will see our little talk, our little IG live talk here on IG, but I'll also be posting it on the page too as well for those that missed it. But again, thank you so much for the audience for being able to stick around with us on this IG live talk, Marissa. It has been a blessing to kiki and chat with you, and I wish you all the nothing but the best. Before we wrap out tomorrow, we'll be doing the same thing. We'll have another IG live talk tomorrow. We will be having it with Eric Campbell, who is the owner of a sync agency, and so we'll be talking all things music. So if you know any artists, independent creatives who are in the music space that want to get their music in besides the music industry, because I know it's a hot mess over there, we will be talking with him later this afternoon tomorrow and talk all the things, tell his story and all that. So while we bid adieu, like I always say, live, love, and create. Thank you so much for having me in the space to talk with my girl, and I will talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye, girl.
Bye, girl.